Right then, I've been requested by the customer to do a preview of the shooting games and stuff like that on TeknoParrot, showing off some of the TeknoParrot games. I'm just going to try and make it as quick as possible because I've tried doing a recording 3 times and I've had an issue with the bloody recording. So what you need to do is, once you boot up the system, is to sync up the Xbox controllers first, and then what I recommend is to plug the Wii bar on these deluxe control panels into the USB port just above the wireless keyboard and mouse dongle. That is a USB 3 port. Like I say, I do recommend plugging it into that port because these Wii bars on the new TeknoParrot update come with certain IDs for the bars themselves. So when it comes to playing those games, your Wii bar will have a specific ID for those games. If you do change the USB port, it can change the ID of the bar itself, and then you've got to go into Windows and reconfigure your controls for TeknoParrot shooters. Now then, what I'll do is I'll start off by loading Aliens Extermination. Now before you boot it up, obviously make sure you sync your controller first as well. Make sure it's in mode 2 for TeknoParrot shooters and PC shooters, so you will get 2 solid lights there. On the control as well, left on most of the games is add credit and right is start. Some of the games have free play anyway, so you would just pull the trigger or press start on the control. There is Time Crisis 5, I believe, which is a strange setup for the Wii controllers. You do have to press up or down, I believe, on the D-pad to show your cursor up, and on the nunchuck itself you would hold left or hold right depending on what position you want to be in. I believe that was left and right pedal on the actual arcade version. Stand around 3 feet away. Even in most light, and the bars are super accurate. If you do have trouble and the cursor is jumping around a lot on the screen, try and reposition the unit somewhere else, or the sensor bar somewhere else away from really bright lights. But the light in this room is quite direct, pointing down to the bar itself, and as you can see there, it's really accurate. On games like Aliens and stuff, like I say, you do have the nunchuck, so you'd hold up on the nunchuck for your flamethrower, and then you press your A button for your grenades. Now you do have an exit system. On here you have the minus on that system there, that will exit it, or if it doesn't exit on there, use the left pinball button. Now let's head down to Far Cry Paradise Lost. I'll try and show as much as I can. I don't want to wait because it is meant to be my day off, so I'll not hang around too much today, but I will try and show off some gameplay footage of the MAME shooters, as well as maybe the Wii shooters and then the PC shooters. This monitor doesn't have any sound, so I apologise if it's quite quiet. Oh, I exited the game there. I'll reload that game. I pressed the minus by accident. Like I said in my previous video as well, these deluxe arcade control panels are going to be quite limited, just because of the limited of GPUs that's out there at the moment. Once everything levels out, there will hopefully be better mini PCs. I believe there is a RTX 2060 mini PC. I'm hoping for an AM4 processor unit as well, so something on the lines of a Ryzen 3 chipset to a Ryzen 5, and then I will be making a lot more powerful mini deluxe arcade control panels as well, so you'll be looking at maybe the 11 to 16 terabyte systems. So as you can see there, it's pretty much accurate, as accurate as you can get it. All you need to do is just slight little movements and it'll move to exactly where you want it to go. Now then, just escape out of that. Head down to... We'll try a bit of Operation Ghost. Now Operation Ghost does have some extra buttons. I believe up on the nunchuck will change the type of shooting mode. So you'll have like your burst fire, you'll have your auto fire and your single shot. And I believe down does something as well later in the game. I think it's another button pressed down on maybe change weapon. I believe it's change weapon, and then you have your A and your trigger. So always try and find the center of the screen. You can't skip a lot of the intro stuff with pressing the right. So as you can see there, A is reload. Up, you can change your shooting mode. And then as you progress through the game, I believe you can change the type of gun as well. So we'll just quit out of that. Head down to... I'll not load Rambo because it takes so bloody long to load. And Rambo does take quite a while. You're looking at about 2-3 minutes or so for the actual game to load in. On the PC fighting games as well, there's a couple of games on there like Tekken 7, Dragon Ball FighterZ. They do take quite a long time to load the game. Just be patient. Once you hit to select the game itself, just take your time, wait for it loading. I believe Dragon Ball FighterZ, you can make a cup of tea in the time that takes to load in. Once you quit the game and go back into it the second time, once the machine's been booted once, it does load in a lot quicker. But from first initial boot, it does take quite a while. As you can see, that works perfect. Now for the TeknoParrot games with the Mame flash bars, you can only play one player at the moment. If you wish to have 2 players, you can buy another Mame flash bar and then set up a secondary bar for a secondary controller setup. So we'll just load House of the Dead 4 there. Now House of the Dead 4 does have a cursor that comes up on the screen. It didn't previously, but just makes it easier having a little cursor on the screen, because sometimes you can lose where you're actually shooting from. So just as the game loads, it will load in an on-screen cursor there. It just helps with accuracy for playing the game. Some of these games have glitches as well. I believe this game, when you're playing it, it does have 1 or 2 glitches within the level, where the screen goes a little funny. It doesn't really spoil the gameplay. Most of the levels work perfectly fine. I believe the second main room you come in onto this level, you'll just see some graphical glitches, and then it'll go back to normal once you exit that room. So you can skip, like I say, pressing your start button. A to reload. and then up to throw grenade. So I'll just show you quickly what I mean. So as you enter this room, as you can see, it's quite glitchy, the picture there. You'll just kill these few zombies, but you can still see the zombies alright. Once it turns round, game goes back to normal. I believe there's 1 or 2 places in the game that it does do that. So we'll quit that game, and then we'll head down to, I'll not load Transformers. Now Transformers has a limited credit system. We discovered this the other day with a customer. What happens is Transformers will run down in credits. You can't add credits for some reason. So what you need to do is exit the Windows, load up TeknoParrot Update. Then you will go into the game settings and change the default game exe file to the test mode dumped file, and then load that up, add some credits, and then escape straight out. It does crash on there if it loads too far in to the test mode, but you add some credits, exit out, close down TeknoParrot, restart, or sign out and sign back in to Windows. It'll load up your Hyperspin, and then just load Transformers up. You'll have full credits. So I'm not going to do all that now. I'm not going to go into Transformers and lose an extra credit, but I will do a video of how to do that and show basically how to get those extra credits added on. So we'll head down to, let's go into Time Crisis 5. Right, sorry about that. I had to swap the memory card out in the camera because I ran out of recording time. So once you load up Time Crisis 5, like I say, it's mode 2. Press your start button, which is that plus there. Go over to player 1 solo, press your A button. There is the A button is shoot on this rather than the trigger, but it doesn't really spoil your game experience. It would be better if A was the trigger. I will look into the settings again on the game and see if I can change it, because this game I believe loads from an exe file. It doesn't load actually from TeknoParrot itself. So you can hold your left or right on the analog. Just make sure once you load into a level, you can press start to press A to skip. Press up, I believe, is it up? No, down. Yeah, it's down on the D-pad, and then you'd hold left or right on the analog to move yourself left and right from cover. So like I say, press down, brings up the cursor and hides the cursor, and then just left and right on the nunchuck itself. So I'll just go ahead and quit out of that system, and then what I'll do is we'll head up to MAME Gun Games. So we want to go into light gun games. Want to change the mode to free, I believe. I'll just test it out because I'm not 100% sure. Then you would sync your controller up with a solid light. You can't sync the second controller up, but it's too far across the room for us to grab, and I'm attached to the microphone. So if you wanted to play 2 players, you would just go ahead and sync your second remote up just before you load the system. Usually helps. And then add coin should be your number 2. and then start should be your number 1. As you can see there, you can move it around the screen. So I don't want to take all day doing this video, so what I'll do is I'll just quit out of that, and then you can head down to Wii games. I believe it's Wii Light Gun games. Right, so what we'll do is we'll go back to House of the Dead Overkill. Make sure the sensor bar isn't pointed to the screen. Change it back to mode 4. Load the game. And once the game loads up, you should feel quick vibration in the control to indicate that the controller is synced up. I believe I've went to House of the Dead, have I? Yeah, I've went on to House of the Dead Overkill, that's alright. But as you can see, A and B buttons, all the controller buttons work. Like I say, I'll not go too much into it. You can see the cursor moving around there. So it is mode 4 for the Wii controller setup. If you do, like I say, if you do have it going crazy on the menu when you set it to mode 4, just get it just before the system. Keep the controllers away from the sensor bar, and then it won't mess your wheel on the menu. So I'll just quit out of that. That's it really for the games themselves. I'll just turn the Wii bar off. And like I say, go in and out of the systems with A and B on your main control. So B goes back, which is your second button across, and A is to select. I think the customer wanted to see what other extra games I had as well. So I've added the new Samurai Showdown to this, so I'll just quickly show that game off. But I won't be doing any more swapping and changing games and adding certain ones. With the deluxe control panels, the 256 M.2 gig SSD is going to have TeknoParrot games on there. It'll be a handful of TeknoParrot games, which will be the likes of Light Gun ones, House of the Dead 4, Sega Golden Gun, Rambo, Transformers, and the other collection of them. If you want the full TeknoParrot upgrade, we do the 500 gig M.2 SSD. Now you'll get around 90 to 100 TeknoParrot games on there, and then you will have the possibly Mortal Kombat 11. If we remove games like Tekken 7 off TeknoParrot, we can add Mortal Kombat 11 on there as well. But other than chopping and changing games and making sure Pacific games on and off and stuff like that, I'm not doing that. It just takes too much time during my builds, and because I'm getting more and more orders in, I just have not got time to chop and change the games that's on the list. If you wish to have a larger drive put on there and extra games put on there, I'm happy to do so, but I ain't putting Pacific games on in Pacific positions unless you upgrade to the 500 gig M.2 SSD. So this new Samurai Showdown is usually on our new 16 terabyte setup, which is our full Bartop builds with the high-end Hyperspin setup. So that would be an RTX 2060 graphics card, Ryzen 5 CPU with 16 gig of RAM. So we'll just head into Versus there. I'll also be doing a video, which I've done one similar in the past, of just how to find places you can find your own games and add them to the system and stuff like that. Because adding media, adding wheel art and stuff does take time. So I mean, if there's a certain game you're after, you're just best off finding it yourself. I mean, when it comes to me finding a certain game of a certain genre, it just takes so much time as getting a wheel art, getting the right media, getting it to suit the system itself, so matching with my other systems and setups and making sure it loads in correctly. And some games can be quite large as well, so some newer games are between 70-80 gig to over 100 gig, and it does take time to download and stuff like that. So as you can see, we have the 2 players there working, so we'll just skip to the second player. Quite a cool samurai showdown game. So I'll just go ahead, quit out of that, and that's it. If you wish, like I said, to purchase one of these deluxe control panels, they are going to be quite limited due to the mini PCs I use. So what I recommend is getting your order in. What I recommend is to get your order in as soon as possible, and then hopefully you can get one of these units, or just wait till after everything levels out with GPU prices going high and the limited amount of GPUs that there is in the market at the moment. So like, share, subscribe to the videos, hit that notification bell, and I will see you later. Bye.